Chapter 1303. Naturally, Hugh Bale was not happy to let himself kowtow in front of so many people. After all, he is more than 50 years old. This face is really a bit embarrassing. But the master of ceremonies said seriously at this time, "Groom officer, today is your big wedding day. 2 families are combined into one family. Not only do you have a young and beautiful wife, but you also have a couple who love you and love you. Parents, we Japanese have been the most filial piety since ancient times, so we kneel and kowtow to our parents. That is a matter of course. Why can you hesitate? Besides, the tradition of our Japanese marriage is to give tea to both parents." When Matt Reeves's wife heard this, she burst into tears. "It is true that 2 families form a family, but I really don't want my daughter to start a family with this old thing. But now there is no retreat, I can only watch it." Hugh Bale was told by the MC at this time that he was somewhat unable to get off the stage, so he had to kneel on the ground, first kowtow to Matt Reeves and called Dad. Then kowtow to Matt Reeves's wife and called Mom. The couple looked at each other, feeling extremely depressed. At this time, the staff hurriedly moved 2 chairs and asked Matt Reeves and his wife to sit side by side. Then the master of ceremonies said to Hugh Bale, "It was supposed to be the bride and groom who bowed their heads to offer tea to both parents, but the parents of the bridegroom officer I didn't come today. So let's let the bride and groom serve only tea to the woman's parents." The crying red-eyed bride could only come to her parents reluctantly and knelt beside Hugh Bale. The staff immediately brought them 2 cups of tea and handed them to Hugh Bale. Hugh Bale took a cup and said to Matt Reeves with a red face, "Dad, you drink tea." Matt Reeves couldn't wait to splash this cup of tea directly on his face, so naturally he didn't want to pick it up. But he raised his eyes and took a look, and found that Adam Smith was in the audience, looking at himself with a gloomy expression, and suddenly shrank his neck, and hurriedly reached out and took the tea from Hugh Bale. Hugh Bale took another cup of tea, handed it to Matt Reeves's wife, and said, "Mom, you have tea." Matt Reeves's wife was even more annoyed, and so many people were unwilling to drink the cup of tea he respected. So before he reached out to pick it up, Hugh Bale held the cup of tea in the air. After a while, he felt a little sore in his arms and felt embarrassed in his heart. Matt Reeves hurriedly winked at his wife. What he fears most now is that Adam Smith has opinions on him. I dare not make him angry anyway. Matt Reeves's wife found her husband glared at herself fiercely. She could only grit her teeth, reached out her hand to take the cup of tea, and drank it. The MC then smiled and said, "Drinking tea from the son-in-law is equivalent to approving the son-in-law. Let me interview the bride's parents." "Excuse me, are you satisfied with the groom?" Matt Reeves sighed and said with red eyes, "Satisfied, satisfied." He was actually dissatisfied in his heart, but he really didn't dare to say it at this time. Matt Reeves's wife can only follow her husband and say things against her will. Alex looked amused in the audience. This is the price of being unkind, thinking that he has a bit of money and a little ability, he will look down on this and that. Such a person will only eat the bitter fruit in the end. After the farce of Hugh Bale and Matt Reeves's family of 3 was over, the MC said, "Next, we will invite our second couple to take the stage, the groom Jane and the bride Alicia."